The track opens with a soft melody as Saba details his daily life, one full of overthinking and almost depression-like state. The first verse details how self-conscious he is, from overthinking his text messages to trying to get at this girl but eventually blowing the secret by telling his best friend and cousin John Walt. John Walt is a recurring element of Saba's life as their relationship becomes the focus of the album. Later in the verse, Saba starts to go down the spiraling decline that is the self-deprecation of depression, admitting his wrongdoings while picking apart every moment of weakness and bad decision he's ever made in his life. He further states that, although one may surround themselves with fortune fans and friends, the trauma of the past will still come back to haunt you.
When I was working on Care For Me, it was probably the lowest point of my life, and that's why it's a really in comparison to a lot of the rest of my happier music, it's darker sounding, the themes that I'm exploring are a little darker, but they're all super honest and just, I don't know, it's a real emotional rap album.
I'm trying to cope, but it's a part of me gone in the pet room I'm alone. Busy day, I'll hit you back right away. I've seen that skies were gray. I hope to God.
The color gray is very prominent in the album, as it's seen as neutrality or depression, a void of empty color and emotion. As Saba works, he uses his craft, once an escape from the hardships of life and a lifelong passion, into an escape from his current state of mind, thus busying himself to stay away from his depression. Yet, in the long run, this business comes at a cost.
His career takes a hold as the second verse details how he wishes he can go back and make amends with those he lost due to the pursuit of music and fame. Although given the illusion he feels that his relationships and life could go back to how things used to be, he realizes deep down his actions cannot be undone, and the people he once knew are now just memories. The Mind's vocals come as the song starts to end and the beat switches. Singing from the perspective of Saba, the Mind questions the relationship between his fans and his family, as he feels he is a ghost in their lives and he is only superficially connected through his technological presence. Later, the Mind reveals that Saba's fear of developing relationships are actually rooted in the feeling that painful goodbyes are inevitable.
First time, the mother of a Chicago rapper speaks about her son's death. Someone stabbed Walter Long Jr. to death, one of the latest victims of street violence in Chicago.
In another important story, a St. Anthony, Minnesota police officer was charged with manslaughter today for fatally shooting a black man during a traffic stop. The girlfriend of the victim...
An Ohio grand jury today declined to indict two white Cleveland police officers, Timothy Lohman and Frank Garmbach, in the shooting death of 12-year-old Tamika.
The chorus of Sirens mentions two different kinds of sirens being heard on the beat. The sirens are representative of two situations, the first being the sirens of a fire engine or a paramedic as you are now laying where the angels lay, in which death starts to surround you. The second set of sirens are representative of a situation in which the police are coming. Despite the outcomes of either situation, however, you are still a victim of the street by either the community or those whose duty it is to protect and serve. The verse goes into detail on the fear felt by a young black man in America, as those who are supposed to be watching out for his community become the biggest opposition to it. Saba makes reference to multiple police shootings of unarmed black men, like the shootings of Philando Castile, Tamir Rice, and Stephon Clark, as he draws comparisons of how his life could have been ended by doing the exact same thing they did in those situations. From the smelling of weed to moving while being apprehended to mistaking a cell phone to a gun, Saba highlights how his life and those around him shouldn't be endangered by the actions normal people would do in their given situations. The verse ends with Saba questioning if it's him that's the issue, as he feels that white America, unlike himself and his community, feels endangered just by his presence alone. Saba fades as he points out the blind hate of consumer America to his art, and wonders if the people forcing this hate actually conceptualize the ideas they're spewing.